Good and our showers, everybody. Hope you are all well and had a um, easy and meaningful Tisha B'Av yesterday. Mr. Shem, we will see the Gula Shlema becoming Bekarov, and won't have to do that again. Um, Today we're back, and we are learning Perek Ches of Sanhedrin. Today's shiur is learning this was Aaron Nachman and Sukkah Cohen. Amazing. Bez Hashem have Aliyah and four Shlenim for Yisrael Baruch Aliyah, Bracha Bas Pencil Zelda, Bracha Aliyah Bas Yar Bracha, Avnishcha Berisha, Chai Bas Abela, four Shlenim Basoch Shar Chal Yisrael. And as a schus to Tzvi Noach ben Bracha Bracha Aliyah for success in all his endeavors, as a schus to Tzvi Shmuel and David ben Hind Miriam and Tzvi ben Chana for the shidduch the karov. Amen. And we all and the rest of the class will be zocheh to have their um, needs, baby ruchnis for begashnias fulfilled. Okay, here we go. Ben Sarah Mower, the rebellious son, the wayward and rebellious son. This is this is the next topic in Sanhedrin, and this is a youth. It's between. We're gonna get to the age shortly, but he steals money and uses it to buy meat and wine, which he consumes with greed. He does this a number of times, despite being warned and punished. His behavior shows that he is so drawn to excessive eating and drinking that he will live a life of theft and murder to support his habit. So the Torah rules that under very limited and specific conditions, he should be put to death because he should die innocent and not die guilty. We're going to get to that in Mishnah Hay. So let's get into it. This is again Perek Mishnah Aleph. Ben Sorah Mara. Ben Sorah Mara. At what age can one become a Ben Sorah Mara? Mishiyavi Shtei Saros, when he grows two pubic hairs. That's usually around the age of 13. V'ad Shiyaku Zakin, until the beard grows around. So before we're going to talk about what that means. What does the beard mean? This refers to the lower pubic hairs and not the upper facial hair. Elish did with beard because they spoke with refined language. So, so a beard that grows around means the hair that surrounds the male organ. Once someone has reached this stage, he can no longer become a ben sar morer. Shenamar, the pasuk says, "Ki yiten leish ben." This is in Kisei that the pasuk says regarding ben sar morer that deaf men will have a son. And the word son teaches two things: ben v'labas, that only a son can become a ben sar morer and not a daughter. Ben v'lo ish, and only a son can become a ben sar morer and not a man. Which in this context is defined as someone who has hair surrounding his male organs. Hakata and Potter, a minor is exempt from the punishment of Ben Sor Maresh Shlo Balaklav mitzvahs, because he has not yet entered the category of people who must observe the mitzvahs. He's not a bar mitzvah. He's still a minor, therefore he's not chayav to observe the Torah laws. He does chinuch, but he's not chayav them until he becomes bar mitzvah. Okay. Mishnah Beis, when does a youth become liable to become chayav to punishment has been so Mishiyachol tartamer basa. When he eats a tartamer of meat, which is half a mana. A mana is about with the weight of about 100 dinar coins. In order to become a ben somor, he must eat the meat when it is only partially cooked. That's how bandits like they bend your side, you know, they eat their food. There is running, so they eat it partially cooked. They drink half of it drinks half of a log of Italian wine. The Mishnah specifies the Italian wine because it's an excellent wine that becomes highly addictive. Therefore, a youth can become a Ben Morer by drinking only just one half log of it. Um, and if he drinks a less addictive wine, then the required amount will be greater. Um, Back in those days, wine had to be heavily diluted with water in order to it become drinkable. Um, but over here we're talking about a guzzler who is drinks wine that's only partially diluted, so it's not different caliber. Um, Yossi says, "Mana basa v'lo gayin." He must eat a whole mana beer, drink a whole logo, which is a larger quantity than the Tanakh. Mitzvah, if he ate at a gathering for a mitzvah, like a korban, or the korban, or he ate at the meal held to publicize the addition of a day to the month, with a special student for that. Or he ate meat or drank wine in Yerushalayim that was bought with Mashasheni money. Or he ate the meat that was usher from the velas and treifos, the shkatzim, and eremasim. Those are all four types of usher food. Achal teva, or Ma'aser Rishon, Shalom Neftu, Ma'aser Sheni, V'Hegdish, Shalom Neftu, or he consumed the forbidden wine of Tevel, which was not taken off any Jewish Ma'asers, or Ma'aser Rishon, whose tumor was not removed, or of Ma'aser Sheni or Hegdish that was not redeemed, or Achal Davar Shukum Mitzvah, or if he ate something that is a mitzvah to eat. Um, you know, such as participating in the service of an oval. That's a mitzvah to eat that. Or if he eats something that's an avera to eat. So just eating on a tinus. Then all the tanesim except for Yom Kippur are derbanan. Therefore, if he eats on a tinus, or if he ate any food but did not eat meat, or if he drank any drink but did not drink wine, so if he ate any of these things for any of these categories we just listed out in this Mishnah, he does not become Ben Sarah until he eats meat and drinks wine. Shenamar Zola Vesove, as the pasuk says, a glutton and a guzzler, which refers to one who eats meat and one who drinks wine. Right? Even though there's no proof to this matter, namely that a glutton is one who eats meat and a guzzler is one who drinks wine. There's a hint to the matter. Shenamar Al Tehi Besovai Yayin Bezolale Basalamo. What the pasuk says, it mentioned, do not be among guzzlers of wine and gluttons and gluttonous eaters of meat. It's not a solid food because that could be argued that a glutton and a guzzler refers to excessive consumption of any food and drink, like the Americans. Okay, and this pasuk means it mentions meat or wine because they are the most likely to draw a person to overindulgence. But so it's only a zecher to the Indian, and if he eats any other stuff, then he's not become a Vince Amar for being that. Okay. Mishnah Gimel. Ganav Mishal Aviv Achal Bershus Aviv. If he stole money from his father and bought meat and wine with it and concealed them on his father's property, Mishal Acherim Achal Bershus Acherim. Or he stole money from others and consumed the meat and wine on the property of others. Mishal Acherim Achal Bershus Aviv. Or he stole money from the others and consumed the meat and wine on his father's property. Ain't no nasib and so mother. In all these cases, he does not become Ben Sarah Mother. Once one does not become Ben Sora unless he steals from his father and consumes the meat and wine on the property of others. Rabbi Yossi, but Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda says, Yigno Mishal Aviv Mishal Imo. Does not become Ben Sora unless he steals money from both his father and his mother. Okay, Mishnah Hey. Mishnah Hey. Now we're going to talk about the parents. Hi, Aviv wrote said, if his father wants to have a judge as a Ben Sora, but his mother does not want this, that would be typically the case. The mother has more achmanis than the father does. Aviv Eino wrote Imo wrote or his father does not want, but his mother wants. Eino has a Ben Sora, he does not become Ben Sora. Ashi Shneim wrote him, he cannot become Ben Sora unless both of them want him to be judged. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Imlo haisa ima roya aviv." If his mother does not match his father, she's different from him in voice or appearance or in height. Enon Asa Ben Sora does not become a Ben Sora. So, since it's impossible for the father Emelech to have the same voice, height, and appearance, he holds. But to Yehuda, there'll never be a Ben Sora ever in history. It's not possible for the father and mother to be exactly the same. Ain't no answer Ben Sora, then it's not become Ben Sora. Echam Nihan Gidem or Chiger or Elim or Suma or Cherish. One of his parents is missing a hand, or is lame, or mute, or blind, or deaf. Namar, suppose it says, his father and his mother shall take hold of him, which implies that they can take hold of him and are not missing a hand. And they shall take him out, which implies that they can walk and are not lame. Amru, ilman, and they shall say, which which implies they can speak and they're not mute. Benein Uzeh, the son of ours, which implies that they can point to him and they are not blind. Which he does not listen to our voice. That implies that they can hear him say that he will not obey them, and they are not deaf. Masrimba, his parents warn him in front of two witnesses to stop his behavior. If he transgresses again, they bring him before a court of three judges, or Malkin or so, and the court gives him Malchus. Chazer or Kilkel, if he's over once again. Nidam Besim Shlosha, he is judged by a court of 23 judges, who can then sentence him to execution by stoning. He's not sentenced to be stoned unless the original three judges who sentenced him to Malchus are sitting there on the court of 23. Shanamar, the name is Zed. The pasuk says, "This son of ours," which means the parents can point to him and tell the original judges, Zed Shalaka with Nechem. This is the one who receives Malchus in your presence. If you ran away before this verdict was reached, and then his lower beard grew around. Pater, he's not chayiv even after he's caught, because once the youth reaches the age of development, he is too old to be designated as a Ben Sora. But if he ran away after his verdict was reached, and then his lower beard grew around. Chayiv, he's chayiv, because once he was sentenced at the required age, and then the sentence remains enforced even after that time. Okay, Mishnah Hey, Ben Sora Mor Nidon Al Shem Sofa. Ben Sora Mor is judged on account of his end as to what he will do in the future. His behavior shows that he will ultimately pursue a life of robbery and murder. Therefore, the Torah decreed, Yamus Zakai, let him die now when he's innocent, Vayim was chayiv, and not die later when he's guilty of a capital crime. Shemisazan Shorishayim Hanal Lahem because the death of the wicked is beneficial to them, because it prevents them from sinning further and to the world because they are no longer able to harm others. With tzaddikim, rather hen, rather olam. But the death of the righteous is bad for them because their merit was increasing through studying Torah and doing mitzvahs, and bad for the world because they were protecting the generation and rebuking them for their wrong ways. Okay, let's go on. So since we just started talking about Rishayim and Tzaddikim, now we're going to segue into talking a little bit more about things that are good for the wicked and bad for the righteous and vice versa. So, Yayin Vishin L'Rishayim, another hand, another olam. The wine and sleep, the heavy sleep that results from drinking wine, of the wicked are beneficial to them, but beneficial to the world. Because when they're drunk or asleep, they cannot sin or harm others. With tzaddikim, rather hand, the olam. But wine and sleep of the righteous are bad for them, bad for the world, because they cannot occupy themselves with Torah, and when they are idle, punishment comes to the world. Peas are the Rishayim, and now they have another Yolim. Scattering of the wicked is beneficial to them and beneficial to the world, because when they are apart, they cannot plot together and they cannot help one another commit crimes. With tzaddik and rather hand, rather olam. But the scattering of the righteous is bad for them and bad for the world, because they can no longer help one another to accomplish the good that they have to do. Kinus, the Rishayim, rather hand, rather olam. The rest is also true that the gathering of the wicked is bad for them and bad for the world. The tzaddikim, another hand, another olam. But the gathering of the righteous is beneficial to them and beneficial to the world. Check it the Rishayim, rather hand, rather olam. The serenity of the wicked is bad for them and bad for the world, because they will use the opportunity to sin and harm others. With tzaddikim, another hand, another olam, but the serenity of the righteous is beneficial to them, beneficial to the world, because they will use the opportunity to study Torah and to do mitzvahs. Very powerful mission of the day of Tisha B'Av. We all the horrible stories throughout the keynotes yesterday, and you hear about all the things that our enemies did to us throughout history. And now when you read this Mishnah about what's good for the tzaddikim and what's bad for the Rishayim and all those things, it's very powerful. Okay, Mishnah Vav. Habam Machteres Nidan himself, a burglar who enters a house through a tunnel that he dug beneath it, is judged on account of his end. Meaning that one can kill such a thief when he's tunneling into a house in order to prevent him from killing the owner. Someone who tunnels into a house knows that the owner will fight to protect his property, and that he might therefore have to kill the owner. Since he nevertheless does so, he's presumably prepared to kill the owner if necessary. Therefore, there's no other choice. One is allowed to kill him in order to save the owner's life. Hayabab Machteres is Shavar Esachavis. The burglar was entering a house through a tunnel that he dug beneath it, and he broke a barrel during the break-in. And the halacha is in Yesh Lo Dam, if he had blood, he deserves to live and killing him is Aser. Chayev is Chayev to pay for the barrel. Ein Lo Dam, but if he does not have blood, he deserves to die, and killing him is Mutter. Pater, he's pater from paying. Mishnah Zion. The last one for today. These are the people whom we save through sinning, even at the cost of their lives. The one must kill them in order to prevent them from carrying out the following attacks. Rodef achar chaveru lahardo, someone chasing after another person to kill him. Echad Zachar, whether a man chasing after a male to violate him against his will, the Echad and a Rasa, or a man chasing after a betrothed Nara to violate her against her will. In either of these cases, if there's no other choice, one must kill the pursuer, must kill the rodef, in order to save his intended victim from death or from violation. However, if someone is chasing after an animal to sin with it, a machala as a Shabbos, or if he's about to desecrate Shabbos, Or if he's about to worship an idol, Ein Masino son benafshan. We may not save them at the cost of their lives, even though these are among the most serious Haveros. It is also to kill the rodef in order to prevent him from doing so. It is certainly forbidden to kill someone who is about to do any other sin. One is chayiv to kill a rodef only when this is necessary to protect his intended victim in the cases that we just mentioned earlier. Thank you for joining us. So we'll continue on Sunday with Perek Test, and we're wrapping up Sanhedrin on Tuesday, and then we go into Marcus for the rest of the week. We're on our way. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Kol Tov.